Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here with a Baby Gut Scraps layout, and today I am going to go ahead and put a layout together, and it is based on the same sketch that I used when I played along with Sarah Scraps' Laura Whitaker sketches that she does every month or every week. It's every week on her channel. And so I took that same sketch, and this time instead of turning the sketch like I did on the layout I did with Sarah, I went ahead and just left it in the regular orientation. So I left it where the strips of paper went on the vertical. And so the first thing that you see me doing here is I've taken and I have my background, which is a white piece of cardstock. And then I have it's like a pinky red cardstock that I'm going to frame my layout, and then I have all of my scraps or my 6x6 papers that go along with the Baby Gut Scraps hop, and I am just going to layer them up following the sketch. This interpretation is very closely following the original sketch, so I don't veer away from it. I keep it pretty close to the original. So I am just going to layer up here. I didn't have enough of this navy pattern paper to frame my photo completely. So you're going to see me sort of piecemeal this piece of navy scrap together to make it fit all the way around my photo. And once it's all in place, you would actually probably never know unless you looked really, really closely that this had been sort of multiple pieces kind of put together, because once it's on the layout, it really all blends together. But in any event, if you ever don't have enough of a piece of pattern to completely cover it, if you can cut bits and pieces apart, a lot of times with most pattern papers, you can kind of do the same thing and make it still work to frame your photo. So like I said, if you looked at that, you'd never know that I had to, piecemeal that background behind my photo together. So now I'm just taking all of these different pieces of pattern papers and I'm just framing up behind my photo. So I definitely use more pieces of pattern paper as layers on this than what is probably in that original sketch. Looks like there's maybe one behind the photo. I'm definitely using multiple different layers, and then I have about 3 strips of pattern paper that are going to go on that vertical strip behind the photo. I am also, instead of doing a 3x4 card where it says to put your title, I am still going to put my title in that same location, but I am taking this 6x6, which is like a paper grid, or lined paper, I guess I should say, pattern paper, and I'm cutting that down. It's going to be bigger than a 3x4, but I'm just cutting it down and I'm going to kind of angle it there on the right side of my photo and frame it with this green, I want to say there's like a tiny polka dot, at least I thought I was going to. I apologize, it has been a little while since I put this together, but yeah, I do end up matting it on that green piece of pattern paper. But before I did that and before I really started gluing everything down, I did want to just ink everything with this Chip Sapphire Distress ink, and I was using so many patterns that I figured that would help tie it all together. So once I had all that done, I did go ahead and glue those down off camera so that they would kind of be able to pick them up and move them all in one piece. After that, I decided that my background, I wanted to mimic those circles, which you could interpret that as a stencil like I am, or a cut file. I could see that being a cut file. In my case, like I said, I'm going to make it as a stencil, using a stencil instead of a cut file or pattern paper. So I've just taken some ink from, I believe this is Concord and Ninth, and I actually forget the color, but if you want to know the color, if you didn't catch it on camera, just let me know and I will let you know the color I am using. But I just used a Vicky Bouton stencil and went ahead and put some color through it and created that circular pattern, basically in the exact same location as the sketch has it. I then took some speckled egg distress ink, added some splatters to the background, and now I am just going to take my stamp set here, which is from Ali Edwards, and this color is from Concord and Ninth, and I did notice that one was sea glass, and so I'm going to use this sea glass color, and I'm just going to stamp up a few hearts in a couple of random places on the background. Again, this is sort of to mirror a bit of the stars that you also see in the sketch. And so in my case, I'm using some hearts. So I'm just going to scatter those around. And I love that doing this allows me to create my own background paper, as well as pull out those stamps and get them on my pages. So far for the year, nearly all the pages except for I think one so far, I have actually used stamps. So I'm pretty happy about the fact that I am sticking to it and using my stamps. And so there you see I have brought my strips of pattern paper back in. I have my photo, which is all matted, and then that other piece of lined paper that is going to house my title here in a little bit. Once I get all of that glued down, I do go ahead and grab the rest of the items that I pulled for this page. And all of these pieces are basically just random embellishments that I had in my stash. A lot of these I want to say came from a crepe paper line. And I can't remember, I think it was like one of their baby lines. A lot of this with the softer colors I have that I've pulled for this. I think a lot of them came from that. And so I got a lot of older stash supplies used up for this one for sure. Here I am taking another stamp from that same LE Studio stamp set. And I think that one said the Sweet Life or something like that. And I just went ahead and stamped that with that same green sea glass ink on that label. And then I have another one that says All Smiles that I'm going to stamp on this other label. And so I like how that just dresses up those labels and gives them some purpose in each of my embellishment clusters. I wanted to have that text since I had that special for today in that cluster there to the top left of the photo. I wanted to add some text or print into both the other two embellishment clusters, so that's why I went ahead and used that stamp actually. Now here I have a cork bird, and I have realized that I have a very hard time using cork. So I had this little sticker sheet full of cork embellishments, so I pulled it out and figured I have pictures of my son and my husband, and they are playing in the yard, and my husband is teaching my son how to play this like ball game where it's like one of those balls and you throw it back and forth and it sticks to the thing that you hold in your hand. And so he was teaching him how to play this, and I thought the cork definitely works for like the outside and boys kind of theme that I had going, and so I thought those were perfect. So there you see I have my background. It is pretty much complete with all the embellishment clusters and the bits and pieces that are going to go in those embellishment clusters. So now, of course, it's time to work on the title. The title that I'm using are white thickers. I have this Moments, which is they're like a foam chipboard, not chipboard, but foam thicker, and I am coloring the foam as well as this chipboard piece that says Cherish, and I'm coloring those both up with some speckled egg distress oxide, and so that way it gives just a little bit of color. And I didn't do it perfectly, so there's lights and darks with the way I colored it so that it would give it just a little bit of interest to the title. So the title for this one is Cherish the Moments, and I'm going to come in here in just a second with some little letter stickers, which are, I think these were the Paige Evans little letter stickers in the navy, and I'm going to go ahead and use that to spell the word the in between cherish and moments. So that completes my title. So now my title is down, and it just becomes the finishing touches of the layout now. I did make sure that I put some twine in both of my tags so I don't have naked tags, and I'm just going to curl up the little strings so that they kind of don't get all over the place and get all in the way. Next, I'm just going to pull a few of these little word strips from this sticker sheet and add that to the bottom of the title and then around, I think, this other cluster here at the bottom. I don't think I add one anywhere else, but I do put a couple of those around the page. Oh, I guess I do put one in each cluster. So like I said, it's been a while since I created this layout, so I kind of forget what I did. Once I get, I believe, this last one down, I am going to come in with just the finishing touch for this layout, which is going to be those enamel dots that you see there to the right. I have 3 different colors. I have 2 different pinks, and then I have this, it looks black on camera, but it's actually a really dark blue. And so I'm just going to dot one of each color into each of my embellishment clusters, and we are going to call this one done. So I will have the link to, I think there's a link that I have where it lists everybody who is participating with Baby Got Scraps, so I'll be sure to put that down below, as well as don't forget to go check out Sarah Scraps' channel with her Laura Whitaker sketches, since this is where this sketch came from. And so guys, here are the still photos, and with that I will catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye bye.